Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cafe of Knowledge, and thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to please like and subscribe. Thank you. Let's get those subscriptions up. Subscribe, please. As you know, this week is our review week. Last week, everyone has completed week 8, which is awesome. Week 8, level 8. So everybody has completed week 5 through week 8. And so we're going to do the review for week 5 and week 8. But before we go into that, I guess everybody know, because I talked about it in the last video, that week 8 was the completion of counting inventory. So you have the hang of how to count inventory now, what you should do to track it, troubleshoot it. You have a basic good idea for counting inventory. So now we can move on to the review process. We're going to do a review process this week. And then next week, we would start learning about your register. Because the register is the most important part. Without the register, you can't sell anything. You can't track your accounts. That's where your money flow comes in and out of, that register. So next week we're going to talk more about the register flow of how your money is coming in and how you are pushing your money out, and also your cashiers. We're going to learn a lot about, I'm going to talk a lot about your cashiers, the importance of your cashiers' honesty, and your register tape. We're going to track all that stuff down. So I'm going to get everybody familiar with how that operates that register, how to operate that register, okay? And what you need to look for in your register tapes, and the things that you sell, and your money flow coming in and out of that register, so you can have a good profit, okay? And so we're going to talk about that next week. And then the week after that, we will start learning about budgeting, okay? About budgeting the store and your company's money, and how to budget things like the schedule, and how to budget what you order, and just all about budgeting. And let me tell you, the same way you budget for your company is the same way you budget for yourself. There is no difference, okay? So when we'll be learning how to budget for the company, and you will also be knowing how to budget for yourself, how to budget your own income and your own money. It operates the same way as if you are doing a company, okay? So we will definitely get into that week after next, once we talk about the register flow, okay, and that cash register, and learning different buttons and things that you should be looking for is your register and the register tape, okay, and your recordings of your register flow week by week, month by month, and your yearly, okay? So we will be doing all that next week concerning the register and your cashiers, okay? Now, like I said, the week after that, we will be doing budgeting. We're going to start doing the budgeting, because we got to know how to budget our inventory, your store. You have to know how to budget everything. And then we will go into how do you keep track with your budget, and are you budgeting your money to where it's benefiting your company and yourself, okay? Budgeting means you have to be benefiting and making a profit, and making sure that you don't go under your finance. You know, you do not want to go where you are going, you're over paying for something that you do not have, okay? That you're spending more money than you're bringing in. I'm going to teach you how to do that, where you're budgeting, where you're not spending more than you're bringing in, okay? So we'll get into all that week after next. And like I said again, appreciate all my viewers. I'm really happy that you all are dedicated to our inventory process, our budgeting process, and then we're going to go into the financial process, and we're going to get all that done, and y'all will be ready. You're already ready with the inventory. So you have completed week 8. Let's jump right into the review. You have completed week 5 through week 8. And I told everybody, you know, I asked everybody in the last video that if you have any questions, please put them in our Gmail email, and we will address those questions. Had a couple of questions, but I'm just going to go over some things so that you will kind of know. Make sure that you either write these things down, or always you can go back in this video and review what I've said. We're going to move a little swiftly. Like we said, now we can move a little swiftly on everything because you have the basic concept of inventory and how inventory works. Okay, so in our review process today I had a question about the pounds and how that kind of works. So we will go over the pounds one more time. We're going to review that cabbage chart that we had, and then we'll review the carrots chart. But you remember about a couple of weeks ago, I was showing you how you count your cases inside of a restaurant, okay? You count them, whether it's a case or a bag, you count it as 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5 is a half a bag. So if this was a 25-pound case of cabbage, you know, like I told y'all before now, I'm an inventory specialist. I'm not a drawer. Okay? So 0.5 is when your case of cabbage or your case or whatever, or bag or whatever, when it's at a 0.5, that's mean it is half full. Okay? And then the 0.6, your 0.7, your 0.8, your 0.9, your 0.10. And remember last week I was telling everybody that your 0.10 is really called a 1. That means you have one full bag or one full case. So if you have a big case and then just a little bit has been used out the case, you would say a 0.9. And then a little bit more, a 0.8, a 0.7, a 0.6. And then when you get to a half a box or a half a bag, it's a 0.5. And remember, I talked about this last week also. When you are counting alcohol or you're counting liquor, which is, I'm talking about liquor, not the rubbing alcohol or what, we're talking about liquor. When you're counting those bottles, even if it's by the gallon or by the quart or whatever, half a gallon, it goes the same way. It goes, if it's full, it's a 1 or a 0.10, but most businesses and companies say it's a full bottle. Okay? It's a full bottle. If a little bit is gone, it's a 0.9. If a little bit more gone, it's a 0.8. And we will get into the alcohol after the budgeting process, because we got to learn how to budget first before you know how to track the alcohol and everything. But you track the alcohol the same way you track any other inventory. It's all inventory. You track it the same exact way. But to know how to budget that alcohol and to know how much alcohol usage or liquor usage that you have, then that's where that budgeting part comes in. So we're going to get familiar with that budgeting so you'll know how to track that inventory as far as what you sold on that liquor. Okay? But it basically is the same thing. A 0.1, 0.2. A 0.1 is when you only have a little bit of liquor left in the bottle. And that's the same way as a case and in a bag. You know, if you have a 25-pound bag or 50-pound bag, but it's the same way. So I showed you guys just then that chart. And for the cabbage. So for that cabbage chart, I'm going to show you one more time. You see your 0.1. So let's say that 25 pound of cabbage cost you $20, which I have right there. Okay, so then you would do, you know, you would say, well, let me divide that 25 pounds, you know, into the $20. That's when you will get $2 for each point. So each point is worth $2, and when you add those points up, that will give you your $20. So I'm just going a little bit slower so y'all will understand. But that's how you go. So if you sell a 0.1, then you know you sold $2 worth. 0.2, you sold $4 worth. 0.3, you sold $6 worth. 0.4, you sold $8 worth. 0.5, you sold $10 worth. Okay? And then, of course, if once you sell the whole bag of these carrots, that's your $20 you have gotten back. And like we said, in most stores, these are restaurants that kind of sell them by the point. By the 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. Because, like we said previously, that they use these items to make things like salads. They don't sell the carrots by the pound. They don't sell, you know, the carrots by the bag. They don't do that. They use these items to make the ingredients that it takes to make your entrees. When you order off the menu, that's what they use it for. And they get their money back off these products by selling their entree plates, by selling plates to you. When you go and you order something, then they make their money back from these items by your plate that you order. They sell that plate to you and they make their money back. Okay, so it's the same way. Let's do one more. Let's do like the carrot in a bag. Let's try that one right there. Okay, so it's the same exact way. Okay, that carrot in the bag. And like I told y'all, this is a bag. I'm an inventory specialist. I'm not a drawer. But the 50-pound bag of carrots, and then it's a 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and then it get at a half of a bag. It's a 0.5. That's how you count that, if that's how they count in the inventory in that restaurant or any place that you go. Okay, a 0.5, like we always said, is half full. Now, we talking about a 50-pound bag of carrots now, and that 50-pound bag of carrots costs you $15. And so, you would divide that $15 into the 50 pounds, and that will give you how much each point costs, which is $1.50. So each point is worth $1.50. So once you get to where you sold that whole bag of carrots, then that will give you your $15 back that you paid for it. Okay, but that's how that works. Okay, so like I said, they use these items for plates and entrees that they sell, and I'm gonna give you a good example on that in a few minutes. Okay, so now that you are familiar with how that go, if you still quite don't understand, please go back and, you know, watch this video again so that you can kind of get a good understanding of what we're talking about. Okay, so then, you remember when we was doing the bananas? We had a 50-pound case of bananas in our inventory, and that 50-pound case cost you $8. So you bought some bananas, you bought 50 pounds of bananas for $8. And so to figure out how much you paying for a pound, you have to divide the $8 into the 50 pounds. And that will give you 16 cents a pound. That's what you are paying for your bananas. 16 cents a pound. Okay? So that's how much it costs. And then you remember when we did that, okay, we set the price for $1. So that's like if you're selling it at a grocery store or something, you're not using it for ingredients, you're just selling it to your customers. Then it costs you 16 cents a pound. Then we set the price for like, okay, we're going to sell it. If we paying 16 cents for it, we're going to sell it for $1. $1 a pound. And then that gave you a 84 cents profit off of every pound of bananas that you sell. Okay? So that's how that process go. Okay? Now, anything that you sell by the pound, it goes the same way. Okay? That's how it goes, and that's how you know how to set your prices. Now, let me show you about the restaurant and the salads. And you know, when we say you use the carrots or you use the cabbage or whatever for making an entree, right? Okay, so I'm going to give you a good example, and you all can screenshot this or go back and review it so you'll have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. But let's say this is a salad plate, okay? And I'm just giving you an example of how you make your money back off the things that you are using just to make your entrees or make your plates. So say that your carrots, remember they cost 16 cents a pound. You paying 16 cents a pound for carrots. You paying 16 cents a pound for lettuce. You paying 16 cents a pound for tomatoes. You paying 16 cents a pound for cucumbers, okay? Let's say that is a salad plate that you sell, okay? So your wholesale price for all those 16 cents times 5, because you have 5 items, on your plate that you sell to your customers, okay? So that is 16 cents times 5, because it's 5 items on that plate that you're selling. So that will give you 80 cents. That's your wholesale price that you paid for all 5 of those things on that salad plate. Okay? Now, say you sell that whole salad plate. You sell salad plates, and that's what you put on your salad plates. You put lettuce, carrots, cheese, tomatoes, and cucumbers, right? Okay, so you sell that salad plate for $4. Now, it only costs you 80 cents to make that one salad plate. Okay? But you're selling that salad plate for your customers for $4. So then that means your profit is $3.20 for each salad. That, because you only spending 80 cents to make that salad. But you charging $4, so your profit is $3.20 for just that one salad. And usually a pound, because we got 16 cents a pound, usually a pound can make more than one salad. So if you can make 2 salads off of this, really. You can make 2 salads off of 80 cents. Okay? And you can sell both of them for $4 a piece. Okay? And so that would give you a $6.40 profit for just 2 salads. Okay? Because you can make 2 salads from a pound of each of these items. Okay? So you're really making a profit from 80 cents. You're turning 80 cents into $6.40. Okay? So that's how you make your money back when you're not selling the items in the restaurants. You're just using them for ingredients. You see? So that's how you are doubling your money, because you don't sell those items individually. You just use them to make things like salads and steak plates and things like that. So that's how you can find the profit off of things like that that you don't sell but you use for ingredients. Okay, so that's how that go. And if you don't quite understand that, please review. But that is how it go. Just rewind or keep playing it until you get it. But that is the process of restaurants that sells like salad plates, and they sell steaks, and they sell, steak and potatoes and green beans on one plate. That's all being accounted for. The way I just showed you is being accounted for. It works all the same way. Okay, so that's how you get your profit off of that. And so when you go into a grocery store where they do sell those pounds, like pounds of bananas and stuff like that, remember we talked about that the bananas will cost 16 cents a pound. That's how much you pay for it on your wholesale price, but you're going to charge your customers $1 for it. So that will give you a 84 cents profit off of the banana. So that's how that goes. Okay. Now let's talk about the case. Okay. I had a question about the case. We're just going to go over that one more time. Remember when I said you buy a case of orange juice and it's 4 in a case, and you buy a case of orange juice for $6. That means each one of those orange juice costs $1.50. Okay, and you paying $1.50 for each orange juice, and then you sell it to your customers for about $4. Okay, and so that's when you get your profit off of the orange juice. Okay, so that's how the cases go. How many in the case? You divide that number by the price you paid for it. So if it's 8 in the case, you divide 8 into the price you paid for it. If it's 12 in the case, you divide 12 into the price that you paid for that case. And that will give you the individual price that you are paying for each item. And then you can set your own retail price that you're going to sell it for. But you just make sure that this is a very competitive market out here. And you have to make sure that you are pricing your items that kind of coincide with items that your competitors are pricing theirs for. Because if you price your ketchup at $3 and you got a lot of competitors around you, other stores and other companies around you, if you're selling your ketchup for $3 and those other stores are selling their ketchup for $2.50, well, that's a competitive thing there, and so most people are going to go to where they're selling the ketchup for $2.50 because they don't want to pay the $3. So you have to know that you have to price your prices according to the competitive prices that you have around you. The other companies, the other stores, the other retail stores, the other fast food stores or whatever. You have to set your prices to a competitive price, okay? And we are going to talk more about that also down the line when it comes to that budgeting thing, okay? So, but that's how you do that. Just be careful of how you price things, because if you're pricing sugar at $5 and like if you're selling a 5-pound bag of sugar for $5 and other stores are selling 5-pound sugar for $2, then they are beating you on your price, and that's the prices, that's the local prices around you. It's going to be hard for you to sell your sugar when they can get it right up the street for a cheaper price. So you just have to watch how you price your things and make sure it's not too high and just too much for what you asking for. Your price is just too much for the item. You just have to watch that kind of thing. The next thing is the same way that you order anything by the case or by the each. It's the same way you order it anywhere else, okay? So, like I said before, we are learning about the food, you know, ketchup, the cases of ketchup or the cases of mayonnaise, you know, or the cases of, we're doing a lot of cases or something, like the cases of lettuce. Y'all know how to do all of that now. All of that is still the same way if you was to go to an auto parts store, you know, anywhere you go. It's all the same way. Let's give, for instance, if you working at an auto parts store and you buy a case of motor oil for $40. Okay? That's what you pay for a case of motor oil. $40. And 12 comes in that case. So you pay $40 for a case of motor oil, and 12 bottles of motor oil comes in that case. Okay? So that means you would divide 12 into the $40, which would give you $3.33 for each one of those motor oil bottles is what you pay. You pay $3.33 for each of those motor oils, okay? And then say you price it at $7, okay? And then that's how you would get your profit, because you spent, you know, $3.33, and then you bringing in $7 off of that, okay? And then you automatically get a profit. So that's how that works. So it doesn't matter. You see how we just did it with motor oil? It had nothing to do with food, restaurant, supermarkets, grocery stores. It had nothing, you know, they do sell motor oil in some grocery stores and stuff, in the motor oil in that section. A gas station or whatever. It doesn't matter. The inventory process stays the same, even if the items changes. The process stay the same. You do it the exact same way. I don't care what it is, okay? So now, let's talk about the difference between ordering something by the case and ordering something individually, okay? So now, let's say milk is $2. That's what we've been doing. Milk is $2 each. And that's when you buy it individually. So if you make an order or you call for some milk, that milk costs you $2. Okay? Now, let's say if you buy milk by the case. And milk by the case costs you $10. And it's 6 milks in that case. Let's say it's 6 milks in that case. And that case costs you $10. So you can get a case of milk for $10. And it's six of milk, gallons of milk are in there. Okay, so you would divide what? The 6 into the $10. And that would give you $1.67. So that's what you paying for each gallon of milk. $1.67. So now, it is cheaper to buy the milk by the case, because if you get the milk by the case, each milk costs $1.67. If you buy individually, it's going to cost you $2. Okay, so it's about a 30-something cents more that you spending when you buy it individually. Okay, but the thing about that is, it sounds, oh, well, yeah, buying it by the case is cheaper, so I'll get it by the case. That's where you have to stop and hold on and think that if your store is a small store and does not use 6 milk in a week, then you might not need to order those 6 milks. If your store only sell probably 2 milks a whole week, and it is places that's like that. Like you go to a gas station or you go to a convenience store. Most of those places have milk, but not a lot of it, not in the gallons and stuff, because they really don't sell milk in those spots. But they'll have a couple of them just in case somebody, just needs to get it and probably will come in and get it, but they don't sell it like that. Okay? So they probably only sell 2 a week. That's how come then you stick with the $2, spending the $2 because you don't need that case, because it's 6 of those in a case. You only selling 2 a week. So you would not order 6 milk, a case of milk, because your store do not use that in a week. You would only buy it the individually way. You would just buy 1, or you'll buy 2 milks a week, which was $2 a piece, which is $4. But you spending $2 a piece, and they in the convenience store. That's why you see the convenience store or like a gas station or something like that, their prices are much higher than if you would kind of get it at a regular supermarket or a grocery store or somewhere that specializes in selling these things. That's how come theirs is a little bit higher than a supermarket or a grocery store, because they don't sell that much of it. They only sell about 2 a week, and they spent $2 for it, and you'll probably go in there and they'll have something like $4.95, almost $5 for that gallon of milk. Okay, that's because they don't sell much of it. But if you go into a grocery store, that same gallon of milk probably would only cost you $3 instead of $5. So that's how you watch what you sell. You can't buy everything by the case if the location you are in don't require that many of that item. Those cases are for places that do sell those things within that week. That's when you buy those cases, because hey, you sell a lot of them. But if you're in a small store, say you're in a candy store, say you work in a candy store, or you work at a gas station, they don't sell gallons of milk like that. They don't sell gallons of orange juice, like not real quick like a grocery store does. So it will benefit you to just order that individually and not by the case. Okay? So, and if you didn't quite understand that, rewind and go back, and so you can understand that. Okay? So that's how that worked. And then another one we had, pay attention to your vendor prices. We've been talking about this all last week through week 5 through week 10. We also talked about it week 1 through week 4, that the vendor prices you have to pay attention to, because vendor prices, your wholesale vendor prices do go up. You can order milk from them one day and it's $2, and then probably 4 days later or a week later you make another order for milk and the price done went up $2.50. And then you can order from your vendor again and the price done went up to $3 for milk, each milk. You say, ooh, they sure is charging a lot for this milk. And every time your vendor go up, you can't always go up on your customers. It's not good for every time the vendor go up on you, you go up on the customer, because then you'll start losing customers, because they'll say, every time I come in here, milk done change. Every week they price change. You can't too much change the prices on your items. You try to keep them set in stone. Okay? So the best thing for you to do is to find you a cheaper vendor that sells milk cheaper. Okay? Because you don't want to keep changing the price on the milk or whatever item it is that your vendor keep going up on. Okay? So when the vendor go up 50 cents on you, then you go out there and change the price to your customers and you go up 50 cents. Then the next week you go up, you change the price and you go up 50 more cents on your customers. And then your customers going to be like, nah, I'm not buying. Every time I come in here, every week, they changing these prices. Okay? You kind of go up on your prices. We'll go into that. but not every week and not every month. You try, you gradually go up when you have to, but it's not for, you don't change your prices every week and every month on an item because your vendor is charging you more. Your job is, as an inventory person, is to find a place you can get that milk at either the same price you used to buy it for, $2, or see if you can get it cheaper somewhere else. Maybe you can find milk for $1.50 somewhere. You just have to then start scouting for a new vendor that sells cheaper milk. Okay, so that's how that goes. Okay, so you pay attention to your vendors because vendors do normally go up, and we will talk about that also in the budgeting process, because like we all know, when you budgeting something, you're trying to budget and save money. You're not trying to budget and spend more money, because there's more money coming out of your bank account and the company's bank account. So you're trying to buy more for less. Okay? That's the process of budgeting and financing. Okay? So, and we will get into that, like I said, week after next. And we also, the last thing that I really wanted to talk about was your accounts receivable. Remember, your accounts receivable should always match your vendor's invoice, your invoice that you get in. So if you got an invoice in for $4, then once you put in your items inside of the computer, which is called accounts receivable, because you have to record everything that comes off that truck into your accounts receivable sheet, or either the accounts receivable sheets that inside of your company's computer. Once you put that in, every item that comes off that truck, you have to input that inside of that computer. And once you do that, it will tell you how much all that cost on your computer. And if you paid, let's say, $10 for this invoice is $10, that computer should say $10, or your accounts receivable sheet should say $10. If it does not say $10, then it's a price difference somewhere, and you have to check. You have to go down each item on the computer and the invoice and make sure, okay, yeah, bananas are 16. I paid $20 for bananas for the pound, for 50 pounds, and you have to look at your invoice and say, yeah, okay, so that's $20, $20, that's match. And you go down the next line, $10, then you look at $10, that match. And then when you keep going, you will find that item that has a price difference either inside of the computer and you haven't changed it, and it's the price is different from the invoice. That's when you have to adjust that computer to the price the invoice says, and then it will balance out, and it should say $20 on the computer, $20 is on your invoice, and you say, okay, I got everything in correctly. That's when you save it. And then you put the invoice in the accounts receivable file, like we always talk about, because accounts receivable means that you have not paid that person yet. And you remember when I always told y'all that you have at least probably 1 month to pay that vendor. So you will put it inside of accounts receivable file for that month that you are in. Okay, so that's how that go. And then I will start showing you, like I said, little down the line, you count the liquor the same way. You count the kegs. It's a lot of places that have kegs, and kegs is a great big old silver metal type beer keg, a big old container that all the beer comes in. And that's when, they use the tap and they pour it cold. They pull the lever, and then that cold beer comes in a cold glass, and then you sell it. Well, that's a keg. And you count that keg the same way. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. And in a keg, you can't see through a keg because a keg is metal. So you have to kind of fill it, shake it, a little to kind of know where you stand on the keg. You know, if it's hard to shake or hard to move, most likely that keg is almost full, like a 0.9, a 0.8, something like that. But you can tell when it's about halfway full. You can tell when it's about halfway full once you get the hang of it, and then you'll notice that keg is a 0.5, and then a 0.4, and then a 0.3, and the lower that keg gets, the easier it is to move. So you know, so you will know that, hey, this keg is almost empty, and then you will know when it's time to order another keg. Okay, so a keg of beer, that's a keg. You know, when you have the big lever that you go in there, it's a keg up under there that is attached to a tap that comes out of the lever that pours the beer. So that lever, you pull it, and then the beer comes pouring out in that cold glass. But that is a keg that it comes out of. Okay, and then you count that keg the same way you count that bag of carrots or that case of carrots, that 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, the same way you count liquor, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. That's how you count the keg. So it's all the same way. Okay. So that's kind of really all that we had this week. Don't forget, next week we are definitely going into that register. So our next video that I load up, that is going to be about register, how to read that register and the register tapes, and about your cashiers and the honesty of the cashiers, and how to know what your cashier is doing on that register. Because like we said, that register is the key to bringing in your money. Okay? That's just point blank period. The register is where the money flow comes in and out. Okay? It comes in and you give change back, it's going out. It comes in, people paying for things, your money flow, and then you give out change, then that, you know, that's your money flow. So that cash register, it keeps up with everything that you sell. It keeps up with your money, and it tells you what's going on inside of your store and what you are selling. So to make sure that you're getting the proper money, and you are budgeting the proper way, and you are getting everything that you're supposed to get out of that store, and your income is growing, all of that comes from that register. So that is a very important thing. So we're going to go over that and make sure that you have a good understanding of how that register works and how that cashier affects that register. Okay? And we're going to go into all of that. So that's about all that I had for today. And that's your review process of, we review week 5, level 5, week 6, level 6, week 7, level 7, week 8, level 8. That was, this review covered all 4 of those, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that should be it for today in your review process. And if any kind of questions that you have, please email us at cafeofknowledge88@gmail.com. Okay, so if any questions that you have or kind of mixed up and not quite understanding, first review the video to see if you got that good understanding, and then if not, you can always email and tell us what it is that you kind of having a problem with, and we'll see if we can answer that question in a simplified answer that you need. Okay, so y'all are moving along, and I will see you next week. Don't forget about our next video that comes out will be with me and Jay, And then that's our community relations video, relationships. We talk about everything down to earth that's going on with all of us day-to-day lives, okay? And then we will have inventory. So me and Jay video comes out on Sundays, and the inventory video comes out on Wednesdays, okay? So make sure that you remember that. Please like, click, and please subscribe. And I will see y'all next week where we talk about the register video. Bye-bye, and y'all be careful.